All right, guys, good to be back from vacation. Good to be back trading again. I'm going to go over the highlights today. My first day back in after about 10 days. But anyway, one of our all-stars, Zozo, was watching Caterpillar. You can see the gap up above this trend line today. And go into 5-minute candles here. You had the gap up, 5 minutes or so, maybe 6 minutes of selling, and then a reversal. And Zozo called it, as he's one of our all-stars in the chat room, as simple as a high of day break, stop right at the whole number 84. So the entry idea, 84.26, he knew you had the gap up, he knew you had that trend line break this morning. Anyway, 84.26 with a stop at 84. So right there's the high of day break. 26 cents a share is not a bad risk on an $84 stock. And from 84.26, look at that, just climbed all day long. Went to 86.25, so almost $2, $1.99 in our favor on 26 cents risk. Great call by Zozo. HMA. These are 2-minute candles here, and as you know, if you've watched any of our videos, you get a big volume spike like this. That gets our attention. And Big Ideas, another one of our all-stars, was watching HMA when it came back down. See this blue line here near the 8-period moving average on 2-minute candles. He was watching for a turn right here. Called it long over this little bitty candle right there. His entry idea was 16.22, and the stop, there's the beauty of this call, stop was only 8 cents below 16.14, right? So there's the trigger, 8 cents risk, and right through the high of the day, and just kept going. Went all the way to 17.04. So an 82-cent move in our favor, and my favorite part of that call was on only 8 cents risk. LRCX, Big Ideas, did it again. Pretty much the same deal as the last call he made. You had this big, that's not what I wanted. You had this big volume spike, right? That gets our attention. You had this really nice move here, and then when it came back down near the 8-period moving average using 5-minute candles, he went ahead and called it, I believe, long over this candle, 46.74, which it triggered right about there, and his stop idea, 12 cents below, and it never hit. And it did grind for a long time, almost an hour or so, before finally ending up near the high of the day. So went to 47.51, 70 cents a share in our favor on 12 cents risk. That didn't get stopped out. And you can see the nice move in the volume there on that one as well. So 2 great calls by Big Ideas. Some of my ideas today in chat were PAY. 5-minute candles here. You notice a theme, another volume spike. I jumped on the mic because PAY is really beaten up anyway on the daily, okay? So I jumped on the mic and alerted everybody. I didn't just type it in. I just thought everybody would want to know that pay might be starting something here. Now, I didn't give a trigger and stop. I just jumped on the mic and said, hey, guys, if you're interested, pay is getting a big volume spike here. And the beauty of it is it looked just like this when I called it. So it had just broken its early high, you know, the couple highs they put in this morning, 5-minute candles. It had just broken that, but the beauty of it was we were catching this early because the low of this volume candle was 17.20, and I pointed out when it looked like this, 17.36. So anyone could have jumped in this, even though it had just broken the high of the day. Look at that volume spike. I saw a lot of people thanking me for this one, and I'll tell you what, I grabbed this one right here at 17.36. Where would I have killed it? Right below that candle, 17.19. And look what happened. 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, we're up over $1. I got 90 cents on some of my shares, and it happened in about 7 or 8 minutes, something like that. Love it when that works. And you know what? And we were sellers up in this. See this topping tail here? We were sellers and grabbers down here, if that's a word. So that was a nice trade for me. I also called a couple that you know, didn't do much of anything. Got a volume spike here, so I called it right in this area, and it didn't go up much more than a dime after that. ADT, I called right in this area around this green line. First I called it up here and took a flat. It was super strong, came back to the 8, went up a couple pennies after my call, came back to my entry, I was back out, and then this green line, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I love strong stocks that pull back to this green line, and I called it again here around 41.91, and it didn't do much. The highest it got after that was 42.21, but still made a little bit of money on that. MCP, I made a call right here at 6.10, and it only got to like 6.14. It just didn't do much. I really thought it would because It's a beaten up stock, a lot of shorts, like 30% short, and you had this gap up the other day, then kind of flagged, and then today you had a gap up. So I thought after the initial gap up and above this base, this could really get going, and it just never really materialized. This is one to keep an eye on, though. If it can get above 625 one of these days, there's not a lot in the way for this to maybe get a little mini squeeze. So keep MCP on your radar. And that's about it. A couple fantastic calls today by the All-Stars, Zozo, and Big Ideas. And again, nice to be back trading. I'm going to quit babbling, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.